Hello, thank you for joining us. We will continue our normal classes, normal topics of every day we did discuss, and today we'll be talking at the Quran's internal test of authenticity. Internally, within the Quran itself, there are claims of the originality, of the authenticity of the Quran itself, and that is what we'll be looking at, and then what the scholars have also acknowledged about that standard order. Now, the Quran in Surah 4, verse 82, it did say, do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from other than Allah, they would have found within it much contradictions. So the Quran invites scrutiny of its own consistency. It simply challenges anybody that claims or that want to assume that there are contradictions or there are otherwise views in the Quran. The Quran is simply inviting or challenging anybody to bring before it and to present any criticism or any contradiction if there is one, because it is perfect word for word from Allah. It was sent down by Allah, the God who knows all things, the all-wise, the all-knowing, and he cannot have made a mistake, and he could not have contradicted himself in any form, according to the Islamic teaching. This is the focus today. So, since we are focusing on the Quran internal test of authenticity to find out what the Quran did said about itself, which was just read, now we are going down to see some things, and I want you to stay tuned on that. Now, Islamic scholars have long recognized this verse as a Quran's internal verification test. While the phrase much contradiction is used, because that's actually what the Quran said. It even qualified. It said, if you read, this even drew my attention to it, because it said, do they not, I'm still reading Surah 4, verse 82 again. Please listen clearly. Do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from other than Allah, they would have found within it much contradiction. The word much is the key word. So in other words, there are contradictions, but they are not much. Right? In that very same verse, much is a qualifying adjective to mean that, of course, there are contradictions. Maybe they want to make it flimsy, just minor kind of things. It doesn't matter. It's not what to bother yourself about. Therefore, they are not big enough to challenge or to cause problem for Islam. That is what this verse just said. So the word much contradiction is used. The logic is straightforward. We don't want to use the genitive, the look at, focus on the word much as a place to bother ourselves on. But the claim earlier on has been that the logic is simple. Even a single genuine contradiction, if found in the Quran, should ordinarily nullify the divine authorship of the Quran. That is what the issue should be. It shouldn't be whether it is much or small or single or just one. It doesn't matter. If there is a genuine contradiction, that is what I and many Christians are saying about Islam and the teaching of Islam. That since the Quran did claim that there are no contradictions, so should we find a contradiction in it, no matter how tiny or how small it is, it should now affect and nullify the claim of Islamic teaching of no contradiction. And if since it is found, therefore Allah cannot be trusted any longer in that regard. And that is our stand in that regard. So in that sense, this principle is openly affirmed in the classic Islamic theology of trying to to see how they can just cover up many things to make things happen without drawing so much attraction or attention of people to. For instance, prominent Muslim theologians have explicitly stated that contradiction would refute the Quranic divinity. And therefore, because of that recognition or that acceptance, they now try to create so many platforms, so many ways that they can explain away the tendencies of finding the contradictions in the Quran. For instance, one of the authors in his Falk al-Din al-Razi writes in his Mafati al-Gayat, he said, and I quote, "Perfection of the Quran is proven by the absence of contradiction. If contradiction were established, its divine origin will be refuted." End of quote. And another author, scholar, Al-Bakilani, stated in his Ijazal al-Quran, he said, and I read, I quote, "The miracle of the Quran lies in its flawless harmony. Where contradiction found, its claim of heavenly origin will collapse. These are not hostile sources. I want you to know. These are not Christians or Western authors writing this quote I just made. These are the Muslim authorities. They are authority voices within Islamic theology. One is Al-Razi, Al-Din Al-Razi, and then the second one is Al-Bakilani. These are authorities that say this about Islam, and therefore we must know the effort behind that, which simply means that their effort is to ensure that they protect the Quran and try to explain away any contradiction in any form, because they want you and I to believe that the Quran has no contradiction and everything in it is absolutely perfect, and it's been perfected by Allah. So we've come to the end of this video. I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not. Click the subscription button, share this, and then comment your own opinion. Ask questions if you want, invite us for anything, and we are here open, ready to give more and more of information, more discussions, more ideas, and more things to do in our everyday videos, because it's aimed at uniting and bringing our people together. Thank you very much, as we look forward to grow our faith and to understand what we should understand, what we should believe on, because you cannot just believe on things sheepishly without going through it critically to see things for yourself. And that is why we aimed at that. Thank you very much. Until we hear from you. Bye for now.